recently, Little Dirk
Yep.
was just picked up by the feds. Him, 5 of his homeboys. Everybody is saying that one of his close homies, who he looked out for, gave $50,000 to OTF Jam. Is cooperating, possibly wore a wire on him. He's looking at life in jail. What's your thoughts when you see something like that?
Man, when I see something like that, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about the loyalty. Because I remember, I don't know too much about the whole situation or the OTF Jam dude. I don't even know if he is really informing. I don't want to throw that jacket without really knowing myself, because I didn't do too much, looking into it. But if everything is true with what they're alleging and they're saying, it goes back to the loyalty factor, because I did see a video just resurfacing the internet due to this shit of Durk giving him like, what was it, like 100,000 or something as soon as when he got out of prison. He did like
50?
Yeah, like 50,000. He gave him 50 racks fresh out. What he did, like 13 years or something, 12 years?
Something like that.
So it's like, it's going back to exactly what I'm saying. This dude done gave him 50 racks. His mama ain't even have 50 racks. His mama probably ain't have a t-shirt for him. Let's just keep it 100. So Durk is showing a real love, and this is supposed to be from your neighborhood that you grew up with. You showing one of your dogs, one of your partners love, giving nigga 50 racks. He probably put him in a vehicle, probably put him in an apartment or something, put him in got him set up. He got him set up right. And for to get out of prison and intent, because he was already an informant. If he got out, his sole intention was to inform everything, but probably I think specifically on Durk. So it's like, you get out and this man puts you in a position and blesses you more than your own mama would, and then flips the script and stabs in the back. Man, that shit is foul. And it's like, man, if they have all the evidence that they're saying that they have, I can't really see it. There ain't no wiggling out of this, man. Like I tell people, the first thing I like to say is, I got money. If you playing with money, you could, like you can get out pretty much anything. If that's the case, what about Freeway Rick Ross? What about the, what was his name? Frank Lucas. And these is dudes that had way more money than Durk. Not saying Durk don't have no money, but these is dudes that had way more money than Durk. And Frank Lucas ended up doing 15 years, and he still cooperated and snitched. He snitched and did 15 years. The Freeway Rick Ross, I don't know if he told or nothing, but he did 20 years. He didn't tell. Okay, he didn't tell.
No, I don't think so.
He kept it solid. And this is, Freeway Rick Ross is the biggest drug dealer in American history. Bigger than the Italian mob, bigger than everybody. He was making $3 million a day. $3 million a day. This was playing with billions. And he did 25 years?
Something like that.
25 years. Yeah. So this ain't something that you could walk away from. The police ain't, we're talking about we're going against the United States federal government now. We're not talking about the state of California. We're not talking about the state of Illinois. We're talking about the United States federal government, that you do not have enough money to be able to pay them. The biggest drug dealer in American history didn't have enough money to walk away from this shit. There ain't no walking away from this. If they have the evidence that they say they have and everything that is alleged is true, there's no walking away from this, bro. Like, in any way. It's a sad thing, man, because Durk is really a legend. Me, myself, I was tuned in with Little Dirk back 2011, 2012, back when that whole Chicago era started. I was one of them that, like, I loved that Chicago era. I was 11 years old, 12 years old back then, in middle school and shit. I love that shit, man. Durk is really like the Chicago legend. He came from like kind of being like undershadowed to like Chief Keef and them to like being the top dog. Like literally, that's that shows you longevity. Like if you put longevity over everything, then that shit is cold though. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, Durk definitely, he just kept going.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, he was definitely behind Chief Keef. Chief Keef was definitely the top dog, doing his thing.
Then they had Lil Reese in them. You know,
Lil
they had a lot of
Reese
dudes.
was killing it, yes. And he just kept, it was just going and going and going.
Consistency.
Consistency,
bro. I remember when he first started doing that singing shit. I hated that shit. I thought that shit was trash. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought that shit was garbage. But he perfected that shit to where it's like, damn, that shit is like music. That shit is like a masterpiece now. He really mastered that singing shit. I remember when he first started doing that shit, everybody was like, why the f is Little Dirk singing? Like, that shit is trash. Like, that shit is trash. I didn't like that shit. But that did his thing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Well, he just got transferred to LA. They got.
So they got. Oh, okay. Yep. So they got him in LA. Okay, the LA County Federal. Yep.
And some of the evidence is they got the cars on camera. One of the cars had a tracking device in it, so they know everywhere they were going. They got the plane tickets, and if you get on a plane, they know who you are, man. So those 5 guys flew here. Durk flew in a private jet with one of the guys who bought the ski mask.
Yeah.
Still got we don't know who co-conspirator 2 is, which he was in on the shooting. We don't know who he is, or allegedly in on the shooting. And we got co-conspirator 4, who was the guy who dropped the location.
Man, the things about the vehicle shit is crazy because I know the individual who actually owned the vehicles, who rented out the vehicles that were allegedly used and stuff. And when this whole Little Dirk shit cracked off and it popped off, man, he called me and he was telling me, like, what's crazy about this, that they took those vehicles, they took the BMW a month after the shooting occurred way back. So they took the BMW, and then the other vehicle, which was we said it was like an Infinity or something, whatever that one was, they took that 2 months after. So the feds been on it. They confiscated both vehicles within 2 months after the shooting. So they've been building evidence. They've been on top of shit.
Did your homeboy know why they were taking it, or did they just tell him?
No.
Like, how does that work? Like, that's kind of up just to take somebody's car.
The thing with the federal government, they don't have to tell you why or nothing. It's just, nigga, this was involved in this. We're taking this. This is our property. Nigga, it's evidence, point blank. Federal government don't have to say shit. They'll just come and take all your shit. That's what they did with they did the same thing with Rollo. They took all his shit. They took all like his property. They took like his properties, all his cars, his houses, everything.
Right, but we knew why they were taking Rollo's stuff.
Yeah, but still though, you can't say that everything was acquired illegally. You know what I mean? You can't say that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're selling drugs and they caught you selling a large amount of drugs, they're gonna probably take everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know how you prove everything, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. But how did your homeboy feel when his car, they just took it without telling him or giving him an explanation?
Man, he didn't tell me how he felt. He probably obviously he was mad. Obviously he was mad as like me. I got 10 cars. If somebody takes one of my cars, I'm gonna be mad as especially like it doesn't matter what the it is. It don't matter if it's one of my low key cars. You know what I mean? It could be a Toyota Camry. If they take one of my cars, I'm gonna be mad as so. I'm quite sure he was mad, but that happened so long ago. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I don't even think I was out of prison during that time. I don't even think I was out of prison during the time, like, when that whole shit occurred. But he just brung it up to me when that whole Little Dirk shit popped off. He was like, damn, it was crazy because that was my vehicle. And my vehicles got confiscated. They took them.
Okay, so just so we fill in the blanks for the people listening, your homeboy he was loaning it to a place that rents cars, right? So he can make money.
Yeah.
So he was getting a piece of it. He loans it to him. I guess, he gets his car back. And then like a month later, they come confiscate it. And all this time, he doesn't know anything.
Anything.
And then this Durk thing
Oh,
cracks
no,
and he starts to see the pictures.
Matter of fact, you know what happened? Damn, I forgot. You know what happened? He was letting his homie drive the car at the time. So when he got the car back, all that passed by. He was letting his homie drive the car. And then his homie got pulled over by the feds. And it was a black dude. And they thought he was one of the dudes that was involved in the shit. Yeah, real shit. They pulled that over, and then he had like a slap on him. He had like a firearm. He had a firearm on him. So they hemmed him up, and they thought he was one of the dudes that was involved in the actual shooting. But then obviously they worked everything out and figured out that he wasn't one of them. So yeah, that shit was crazy. So how they got the car, a was driving it. He let somebody else drive it, and then they got pulled over in it, and the feds just took him for the shit. So yeah, that shit was crazy. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
And so this whole time, did he know? So he had no idea why they took his car. So what did he think when this Durk shit cracked and it's like, there's my car? Now I know.
I think he was just like shocked. I'd be like, damn. It's definitely a moment to where you like, okay, everything makes sense now. Like everything is adding up. Everything makes sense.
I'd have been calling the feds like every day, like, yo.
I'd have been trying to sue them motherfuckers.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'd have been trying to sue
y'all
the
can't
feds.
just take my car without a reason.
Yeah,
like,
I would have been trying to sue
the
feds. But sometimes, sometimes certain motherfuckers don't be wanting to go to like bat. They don't want to go and bat for themselves because something like that, a process like that with the federal government would take a long time. But me, I got nothing but time. We're going to go to war over it. Like, and if after court and everything, and they just like, yeah, you're not getting your shit back, then okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Now, you mentioned, disloyalty in the streets, man. Do you have any situations that you've been through or that you could speak on that kind of taught you a lesson about the loyalty?
Hell yeah, man. I got countless situations. Man, I got a dude, like one thing, I'll never say no names or nothing, but I'll tell a story. Like, man, I got a dude that when I was out, before I got locked up, before I got incarcerated, this was like a day one that I treated as my brother. I acted as such as like a brother. He knew my mom. I knew his mom. Whoop. This is a that I would kill for, like point blank period. And man, I'd have been in situations to where back then I was selling a lot of drugs as a child, like a lot of drugs, like big drugs. Like we talking about 20, 30 pounds, 50 packs, like moving around with 30, 50,000 on me at 14 years old. You know what I mean? I'm talking about 13, 14. I'm moving hard. So this was that was from my neighborhood, from my area, and we was in that type of lifestyle with each other. Like we was selling drugs, we was selling packs together, we was selling packs. And then, man, I ended up like getting robbed for like a substantial amount of work type shit. But this is a that's not from my neighborhood. He's from a neighborhood, but he's not from my exact neighborhood, but he's from my allied neighborhood. So he actually gets robbed by from my hood. So he gets robbed from my hood. But the thing about it, these from the hood, they know this is my everyday day one. You know what I mean? So why would you even rob and approach it like that if you know that's like, okay, I know Whoopty Whoop is Cam's boy. This is his everyday. I with Cam. I might not with this. He might just be around like random that, but I with Cam. So we gonna let him, like, you know what I mean? Like he good. So from the hood actually robbed this. And this actually was some shit to where it's like, I was on some like, I'm going to war against my whole neighborhood over this dude. So long story short, you know, gang of things transpired, and like one of the attempts that I went down is like involved with that situation, that specific situation I'm speaking on. And man, I'm talking about this never sent me $1 in prison. I probably talked to them like twice, never gave me a dime, a dollar, a cent, or nothing. And I'm telling you, I'm talking about we was dealing with money, like a lot of money. And then fast forward like 2 years later, and I'm already locked up like 2-3 years later, and already elevated. He dealing with, make a play, he's getting 300 racks, 400 racks. So he's dealing with real money. Like, you know what I mean? This was playing with M's. Because we was already playing with a lot of money as kids, but, I'm sitting in the cage. Ain't sent me $1, nothing. And I'm talking about go make a play and smack 400 racks. And this is a weekly thing. This isn't a like, okay, once every blue moon, once a month. No, every week was smacking a play and getting $300,000 to $400,000 cash. And I'm sitting in the cage. Obviously I got my peoples, I got my brother, I'm living like a king in prison. I'm good. But they never sent me $1, a dime, a cent. And I'm talking about was playing with racks. And I'm the that made it good for to even be able to walk around and feel safe. Cause that shit with the hood that got wronged, I made it right. I made it right. Anybody that was involved, anything, everything got handled. You know what I mean? Everything got handled and everything was right. And it's like, man, nigga really left me to dry. I ain't even gonna lie, that shit hurted. This is a nigga I was with every day. Like every day. Like I viewed this as my brother. Like we sleeping in the car together. We going OT, going to Arizona, driving, going to other states, sleeping in the car, smacking, getting plays, 80 racks, splitting it down the middle and shit, splitting it 3 ways. Me, him, my brother, boom, boom, boom.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.